Well, hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Alexei! How's it going? Yeah, I can't say that. I can't say that. Skudat, yeah, nope, not even gonna try. Not even gonna try. Code Stencil. Mr. Harrison, 464, how's it going? All right. So I got something cool that happened. I got some new toys, which I'm pretty excited about. Hold on, let me see if I can bring a picture up. Let me see. It's on my OneDrive. Let me see if it's synced. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, you're welcome. You are welcome for the free license. Go Soldier. How's it going? Yes, finally managed to catch my stream. Well, thanks for joining. I'm glad you could make it. So I wanted to show everyone these cool... Well, let me just switch right here. So what you're looking at here is a picture of my new sound diffuser panels. JHDev. These things are awesome, actually. So these panels here, they're made by a company called Gick Acoustics. And they don't absorb sound, right? So they're not like meant to be like soundproofing. What they're supposed to do is treat your room so the sound is more natural and you don't have so much echo, right? Yes, and Go Soldier, it doesn't hurt that they look awesome because they look like art. And you can customize them however you want. But before, I had a ton of echo in my office. I have a little 10 by 10 room. It's got like, I don't know, it looks like about 10-foot ceilings maybe 12, I'm not sure. Tall ceilings. And I had a ton of echo. So I did some research and I found this company. And so I bought these 3 panels because, as you can see, this is my setup. Right? You can see my camera and my lights and my mics and everything. So I talk to a wall. And so what would happen is a lot of that sound would echo, bounce right at the wall, right back into my face, into this mic, and I'd get a ton of echo. Oh, a link. Yeah, I could do a link. It's just Gick Acoustics. And they got some pretty cool products here. I'll pasted that right into the chat window there. And they have all kinds of cool things. So they have like basic panels that don't look good, and they're a lot more, a lot cheaper, of course. But I wanted mine to kind of spruce my office up a little bit, right? But they got a lot of cool products, and what's really neat is you can actually contact them, and they will give you design advice. So you send them your office dimensions, right? The dimensions of your room, the height, the length, the depth, all that cool stuff. You take pictures of like where your doors and windows are at, and then they'll calculate the panel coverage and recommend how many panels you need and where they should go. And that's like right here. Get free advice. Boop. Get free advice. That's cool. And then I didn't do this, but there are some panels that are art. They're called art panels. And so essentially you send them a picture of whatever you want, or you could pick from what they have, right? But you could use your own pictures, and they make art out of sound panels. So not only does it treat your room for sound, but it also looks artistic and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And so I got these 3 big panels for the front of my office. So that's the wall I'm speaking at. Whoops. And then I have another panel right here. I have these. I have a back wall, this little back corner over here, that I would get a lot of sound that would come and kind of echo. I put these 3 smaller panels, hung those up in that corner, and man, it's really made a huge difference on my sound. I'm pretty excited about it. Super excited about it. Kind of spendy though. I think they're like $50 a panel or something like that. And then depends on the customizations you do. you know, I chose a certain color and design and all that stuff. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And it looked better than that egg crate stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you go on YouTube and you see people sound treating the rooms, they put like egg crate foam all over the walls and it looks ridiculous. I'm sorry. It looks so, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Not cheap, but just like, it's not attractive. It's not a good looking thing. And through my research, they actually don't really do what they're supposed to do because a lot of them are like really thin and they're not really designed to actually absorb and diffuse sound. So what these do is they have some absorption material in them, but the panels actually reflect your voice or the sound off in different directions. So it's diffusing. So instead of like hitting a flat wall and then the sound just kind of goes, boo, right? It kind of diffuses the sound as it hits in different directions. It scatters the sound, which is really nice. Huh, $50. 10 panels are my salary. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, they're pretty spendy, but they look really nice and they work really well. So if you're in the market for some panels that look nice and still do the job that aren't egg crates, I highly recommend these. Really good quality. I like them a lot. But yeah, so that's that. I was excited about that. Oh, I got all these open. Link. I posted the link right above there. Right above. I think it's still on my clipboard. I'll post it again right there. Alexi, yes! I thought we would jump into some Prism today because I have this feature request that I wanted to look at. And I wanted to see if we could do it or not. So, enough chit-chat. Let's just jump into it, shall we? So let's see here. Let's go to issues on the Prism GitHub. And the one I was looking at was the multiple dialog windows. So I got to read through this because I just skimmed it. But the idea is, you know, Prism has this dialog service, right? But it only supports one window. And then you can inject your view into that window. But you might have different types of windows. Like maybe your app has a ribbon window. And then it also has like a notification window and maybe an error window and I don't know, all kinds of different windows. And maybe you want to, you know, control how you show those. Mortel Box, hey, thanks for joining. We're gonna do some. We're gonna look at adding some a feature to Prism today. So let's read through this. Oh yeah. So this came up. I remember this came up because I was doing the Building Outlook stream series. And this is when that idea came up, is we wanted to show multiple dialogue windows, right? Instead of just one. And so, let's see, what are the... Oh, thank you. I think Prism's pretty cool too. Let's see what the suggestion is. Okay, so we can add an overload to register a name, the dialog window. Well, you know, actually, let's give some context to this. Let me open up. I have a Hello World sample here. Hello World sample. And I just want to look at the API real quick. It's actually been a while since I've looked at this code. View model here. Okay, yeah. So we have this. That's an extension method. Yep, so I wrote some extension methods for some examples. But this is using the dialog service. Let me comment this out. And let's uncomment this one. Okay, so what we have here is we're showing a dialog called notification dialog. That means in my app.xaml, I'm calling register dialog, the name of the dialog, and the view model that's going to be associated with it. So if I go into my dialogs, I will see a notification dialog control. And this will be a simple user control with some stuff in it. Okay, so I register that with our container. And then I'm showing that dialog using that name and passing in some parameters. Okay, no big deal. Pretty easy. The problem is let's say we want to show a custom window. So right here, I can uncomment this register dialog window and use a custom dialog window class. So if we, where's that at? Right here? Yeah, so if we look at this, we can see it's a window control. Doesn't have anything in it. I just wanted to show that it was custom. Let me run this and make sure it just works. You never know. It's been a while since I've opened this project, so let me just run it real quick and look for the window it's popping up on. I think it's kind of, oh, there it is. Okay, so something's up here. Show dialog. Oh, let's go into our main window. I might have commented something out. Yep, I did. Commented that out, didn't I? I need my show dialog button. Okay. Hey, my show dialog button didn't show up. What am I doing wrong here? Let's do this. Oh, that's why. Yep, comment that out. So height, button, show dialog. There it is. Okay, now we're working. Now it's working. Okay, so here's our big dialog. Looks like I need to style it a little bit. But the idea is I want to be able to provide a different type of dialogue now, right? But the limitation of this dialog service is I only have the ability to register one dialog window. So first off, let's create another dialog window. Let's do a new window. Another dialog window. And let's, can I make this background green? Because I want to see a difference. Now, if I just go ahead and try to register this, another dialog window, and run it. Oh, hold on, I can't just do that, sorry. If you have a custom dialog window, you have to implement dialog window. You see that? So we'll just come to our code behind. And let's implement the interface. There. Now that should work. Install Microsoft recommended rosin analyzers, which provide additional diagnostic fixes for common API design, security, performance. Later. Okay. Now what we should see is we should see a green. Well, I didn't even get the green one, which is fine. Essentially what I want to do is I want to be able to specify another. Holy cow! Mr. Fritz rating with a party of 82. Jeff, how am I supposed to get any coding done when I'm being rated by you, my friend? Huh? Alexi, if I have my own dialog service with scoped region manager, how can I show this dialog window after closing? I mean, I call close method of the window class, and after that, I'm not sure I understand the question there, Alexi. Huh. No code, only raid. Yeah, it seems that way. Okay. Well, let's get back to the feature we're implementing. The feature we want to implement now is we want to support multiple windows. Okay, so let's look at the GitHub issue with the suggestions and see if this will work or if we have to take another approach. So one suggestion is on registered dialog window, we provide a name. Okay, that is probably going to have to definitely happen. Well, you can get any coding done in VS, not in the dark theme. I don't like the dark theme. Thank you very much. Oh, that's hilarious. I like the light theme, personally. I love it. And actually, light theme is better for presentations. Just so you know. I read that somewhere, so it's got to be true. If the internet says it, it's true. That's how it works. Okay, so now we would simply register a mapping from iDialog window with the name to the container. Okay, that makes sense. We can do that. Now, how do we assign a window to a user control? Right? How do we say, what? Alexi, dark theme is a pain for eyes. Yes! See, I agree. I don't like the dark theme. I don't like the dark theme. Stella Z79, yes, everything that you read on the internet must be true. See? My thoughts exactly. My thoughts exactly. So I'm trying to think. The recommendation here is we're saying register dialog. And then window name. So essentially what they're saying is we're going to register this dialog. Give the dialog a name. So in this case, I'm going to call it the same so it doesn't break. And then they're suggesting that we give it a window name here to specify what window it shows up. Janice Q7, light theme is hurt for eyes as well. Well, I guess that's just personal preference then. So this would work. So this would say, anytime I show the notification dialog, I'm going to show it in this window, right? And so maybe we provide something like this, right? We change the API where you name the window, and then you can provide the window name. Okay, what else does it say? A second option would be allowed a generic parameter to specify the type of window. Yeah, then you could get... Well... Okay, a third option would be to use an attribute on the dialog control. I don't like the dialog. I mean, I don't like the attribute approach at all. So I know this is a no-go. I'm not going to use an attribute. But if we're thinking about what's going on, I don't think that we should actually register a dialog with a window. Right? I think I should be able to inject a dialog into any window. I should be able to change the window type at runtime, because what if the content of the window doesn't change, just the window itself, depending on context, right? So maybe we want the flexibility to switch out the window and not necessarily create a coupling, right? Oh, we're still talking about the color here. Blue eyes people get more light than other colored eyes. Code in Braille and your eyes will be fine. Oh, wait, task. Code in Braille. Oh, my God. Oh, that would be... you know, that would be a great skill to have. That's for sure. Okay. So I'm thinking we don't want to create a coupling between the window and the dialog registration. I don't think we want to do that. So I do agree we need to be able to name... We need to name the dialog window for sure. That has to happen for sure. But I don't want to create a coupling between the actual dialog and the dialog host window. So I don't want to do this. So this is not going to happen. So we can keep this the same. So one API change we're going to have is definitely here. Okay. So let's go to this. Oh, wait a minute. Before I make any changes. Oh, crap. Okay, I need to create a branch here. Let's go new branch. Dialog window. How about Multi-dialog window. Create branch. Bring my changes. Yeah, no kidding. That could have been real bad. Okay, we got our branch. Now I can safely break stuff. So, what we're doing here is we have this registered dialog window. So what I could do is I can create another extension method that takes a name. Right? And we can provide a name. But now I can modify this one. Register dialog window. T window. Right? Something like that. So, what? Stelzy79. Oh, Prism. I distinctly don't have fond memories the last time I came across it. Or you probably didn't know what you were doing. Every complaint I've ever heard of Prism is because of a poor implementation. Straight up. Being honest. Every complaint is because of a poor implementation. So Prism doesn't prevent you from writing bad code. It does help you down a path to success, but you can ignore that path all you want. And but I've never not been successful with Prism. Okay, so I'll modify this extension method to now use this name. But is null or white space name. We'll do this. Right? Makes sense? I think that makes sense. Because I'm trying not to break anything right now. So for now, I kind of... Well, you know what? Since I'm not trying to break anything, let's not do this yet. Let's keep these specific to what they are. And that's fine. We could do that. So now what that did is that gave me the ability to register a dialog window with a name. Well, it was not a project I started. There were other things in it that were highly questionable in my opinion. Probably right then. I can almost guarantee you that was the case. Okay, so now we're registering a dialog class with a name, which is great. We can do that. GHDev, would you throw an exception for an empty name? No, because an empty name... Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think we have a problem. Actually. Let me come into the code. I gotta come into the service. So right here, create dialog window. We are not resolving by name, we're resolving by type. And this was the restriction where you only had one window. But now we can actually specify a name. But we can't break backwards compatibility. Okay. We got to think about this. Because now we have to actually say, like, name, right? We have to do this. We have to support creating with a name. Okay. Go Soldier. I'm using Prism.forms and had some problems at the beginning, but now I love it. You just have to take some time to read the documentation. Yes, and I will wholeheartedly admit that I am way behind on documentation, but we are making progress in that space slowly. Okay, back to this. So we do have that problem. String window name. So let me. Oh my goodness. This can't be empty. That can't be empty. Use the default value for name. If the user doesn't use it, it shall be fine. Yeah, but the problem is if we go to this. So pretend we didn't add this. This line of code should still work. That should still work. We can't break that. So the idea is if you only have one window, you don't have to provide it a name. And we're not breaking an API. Because if we made this name a permanent change, we've now broken everybody who's using this API. And we don't want to do that. We want to have backwards compatibility. And I don't have a default window. Or do I? Is there a default window? Oh, there is a default window. I do have a default window. But if they want to use their window. Okay. This line has to still work. Think. Let me try something. I'm curious if we broke it already. Yeah, we did because we don't have a name. See, that's what I was worried about. Maybe look at how AutoFac handles keys and services. Seems to be a similar scope. Well, I can't just use the default name as the problem. What I have to do... Okay, wait a minute. What I have to do... I have to do this. Rubber Bandit Horse, thanks for the follow. I have to do this. Is string, is null or white space. Oops. That's what I have to do. Otherwise, if there's a name, then we use the name. That should fix it right there. So if I show this, there's our red dialog. Okay, so that worked. So we're not broken anymore. We fixed that. So that's good. So that's a good fix. Let me go back to our another dialog window. And I think I put the background on the wrong thing here. I want it here. Okay, right there. All right. So now let's go back here. I'm going to test this again. So now we should have the other dialog. I just want to make sure this all works. Okay, so that's working. I wonder if... Which one? Is it first or is it the last one wins? Last one wins. Okay. So now we got to handle the scenario where we do provide a name. So think. Okay. We have to go to where we're calling this. The show dialog. We have to add, right? We have to add this. Right? Yes, we have to do that. And that probably means window name. Do I want window name? Dialog window? Dialog host? Register dialog window. Should that be dialog window name? Or just window name? Oh, we'll keep it window name for now. I hate naming stuff. That's the hardest part. Okay, so now what this allows us to do is we got to go into our dialog service. Okay. Right? I think, yep. Whoops. Okay, so we fixed that. Now... Right? No name, and that calls this one, which calls this one, and then this will call... This will call, null. Which calls this one. No, it calls this. Wait a minute. Yeah, that works. I did provide an optional... Maybe I don't need to make that optional. That's required. That's required. So we'll pass that in. Okay. So now what should happen... I shouldn't have to change anything else. Because now we're calling show and we're passing the window name. Then we call... When we show with dialog internal, we're creating the dialog window, which essentially gets this dialog window, passes the name. If it's null, we'll use a generic. And if it's not null, we'll actually use the name. Now, hold on. No, I don't want to do that. Nope, I got to keep it this way. What I was thinking was on where you don't have a name, you could do type of dialog window.name, but no, I don't want to do that. Or type of twindow.name. See, I was thinking of doing that, and then everything uses a name. And then I don't have to do that check. But that might... No, yeah, that would break... Never mind. Nope, can't do that. Because that would break my default... Yeah, nope, can't do that. Can't do that. Because that would break the default implementation. And if you're curious where that's at, that is in the Prism application base. Right here. Knowles be lurking. Yep, Knowles be lurking. Would that break that? I'm not sure. Essentially what I'm thinking is getting away from this. I'm always using the name anyways. Huh. TTV, crazy eye. I have zero understanding of what's going on, so I'll just keep watching and get my brain all fucked up. Yeah, it's a little confusing because we're using dependency injection. So essentially I have this service called an iDialog service, and this is the interface. And what we want to be able to do, according to this GitHub issue, is we want to be able to support multiple windows, different window hosts. So I can show, so let me just run this. So for example, I have this app, and if you want to look at the code, where'd it go? I am showing this dialog service, so I'm injecting a dialog service right here. I'm calling show dialog, and I'm going to show a dialog with some content. The content is going to be this notification user control called notification dialog. That's the content. And so when I show this, it's in this red dialog window. This is a custom dialog window. I know this custom because it's a red background. However, if I got rid of that custom registration, get rid of that. If I get rid of these here, I'm going to get the default window that ships with Prism. See, this is just a default notification window. But I want to have the ability to change this host window. See that? And I want to be able to do that at any point. So the first step is to create a new custom dialog window, which we did. This one has a red background, and this one has a green background. Okay. And so we want to register those custom windows as a dialog host. And now I'm trying to find the best way, the best API to actually support showing those. Right? Okay, so let's just continue this approach, and then I'll refactor if I can. Because I'm wondering if I can just get rid of... I wonder if I just... Everything has a name. That's what I'm trying to get at. Does everything have a name? Actually, I could do this. And then I can get rid of this one. Okay. Stay focused, Brian. Stay focused. We'll do that. I'll refactor later. Let's just get it to work. So now I should be able to come into my main window. So the question is displaying the default dialog window without any changes, even that useful in a IRL non-trivial project. I'm not sure I understand the question, Stelzy79. Displaying the default dialog window without any changes, even that useful in a real-life non-trivial project. Well, so the problem with a built-in window is it probably most likely doesn't match the style of your application. So you're going to want to provide a custom-styled, right, application window, like your own window. It could be a ribbon window, like resize mode, size the content. Right, so essentially, you're going to want to custom style your dialog windows. And this is going to give you the ability to do that. So I can have a ribbon window. Like I streamed an Outlook series, Building Outlook, where we built ribbon windows and we were showing those. So there's my callback. And so window name. Another window. Isn't that what I called it? No, I called it window. Oh, here we go. Let me capitalize that. So now what I'm saying is now I'm going to show this dialog in my another window custom dialog, which is a green background. So I should see a green background when we launch this window. So launch, green background.
Hey, buddy, how you doing, mate? Good.
Okay.
Finishing up the record. I'm in Berkeley right now. No, that's cool. How's the record going? It is good. I'm really happy with it. And
So let's do this. Show confirmation. So it worked. We fixed it. We implemented it. That's the feature. Ship it. Not yet. Not yet. I don't think I have everything quite figured out. But I think the overall feature idea we've implemented. But I want to try to get away from these names altogether. So, see, I want to get away from this. What I'd like to have is just this. Right there. So what we could do, so Gold Soldier, is there a reason you don't want to use name of? Yes! Yes, there is a reason, because I am inside of a view model right here. So here it doesn't matter. Here it doesn't matter right here. So I can say name of another dialog window. Doesn't matter here. It does matter in my view model. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing name of here because I'm in a view model. And that is a huge no-no. You do not want to reference view types in your view model. So name of any user control, a window, UI component, not going to happen. And I personally don't even reference other view models in a view model because that is coupling one view model to another. So in Prism, we like to use the idea of keys, right? It doesn't matter if it's a view or a view model or whatever. You're just navigating to this key, this concept of a unique identifier. Yoon Zera, thanks for the follow. Right, so this keeps our code highly decoupled and testable. No UI component allowed in your view model. And that's another reason, like in navigation. So if you look here, request navigate. I don't even navigate to view models, if you will. Some people really like to navigate to a view model, navigate to this view model class. And you might have something like, you know, navigate to my view model of T, right? I don't even do that because it's a coupling and I don't like that tight coupling. But what I'm trying to get at is, can I get rid of this? So if I go to my container registry here, let's do this. Let's do this. I might be able to get rid of this. I might be able to. Maybe. Okay. Lily! Hey! Thanks for joining. Good to see ya. Alexi, which cases do we need to load modules from DLL? Create directory modules. Alexi, I'm not sure I understand. Load modules from DLL? Which cases do we need to load modules from DLL? You mean a directory catalog? In which cases would you use the directory module catalog? Oh, Furkan. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, okay, directory catalog. So the module directory module catalog is used a lot in the enterprise. And so what that allows a big enterprise to do is they'll just ship a shell of the application, like the executable. That's it. It's just a very dumbed down master page, if you will. And then they'll have their catalog always point to a shared directory on their network. And this allows them to update and ship new features real time. I mean, you could have the app running, drop a new assembly module into that directory, and as it's running, it could just functionality just pop into their app while it's running. Some enterprises uses that for that feature alone. For Khan, what's going on today? Well, today we are adding a feature to Prism to support Multiple dialog windows. That doesn't sound very safe. It's safe. It's safe. One love. It's safe. Crowls 4K. Thanks for the follow. So what I'm getting at here is I'm trying to refactor now. We have the feature working. We've proven we can do it. But now I want to make it better. I want to make the API better. The problem is with the default implementation. So let me get rid of this. Takes off tinfoil hat. This is the default dialog window that ships with Prism. And so what happens is if we modify this register dialog window to require a name, or we're always using the name. So I'm actually, I want to, I know. Let's do this. Let's actually comment this out. We could say there. That way we always give it a name. However, the default implementation, that's what I'm worried about. So if we were to comment, let's say we're not using a custom window. This will break. This is going to break now. This won't work, I'm afraid. Oh my god, it worked. How did that work? How did that work? One love. But no, I'm actually a fan of automated updates. Oh, upgrades, but it's always a balance between security and ease of deployment. Yes. Yes, it is. I agree. How did that work? Hold on. I gotta step through this. I don't know how that worked, honestly. That should have broke. Something's going on that I'm overlooking. That didn't even... Hold on. Go back to Prism application base. Oh! No. Oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm registering the dialog window. Yeah, undocumented feature. Hello, hello, hello. Straps too sweet. No, I'm not getting into that again. So I'm registering the dialog window, the default one with the container, with just a normal register. But if I come into my... Here, let me hit a breakpoint here. Let me hit a breakpoint here. And that's null. As exactly how I thought it would be. And it worked, but I don't think every container behaves the same way. I don't think this is going to be allowed. So maybe what I have to do... I need to set the default name. Right? Right? Now I have it working. I can keep it the way it is. but I don't think I want to do that. Where is this at? What the heck? Now I'm losing my mind. Oh. Maybe that's why. No, I'm still losing my mind. For Khan. You give it a second thought to the idea I shared with you earlier. Region manager should build a knowledge of their child and parent. Region manager. No. Nope. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Await task. Is implementing default parameters considered a breaking change? Well, this specific implementation here, that is on a private method. So no. If it's on a public method, then yeah. But this is a private method. I'm trying to prevent breaking changes. And when it comes to this, I can just add another method, and then it won't be a breaking change. I'll be adding a method, right? Where does this live? Prism to ILC. Registered dialog. Oh, that's why. Oh, gotcha. Sorry. So now it should break. I need to break this. I need to prove that this isn't supposed to work. Okay, yeah, now I hit this. Name is null. So I'm going to use dialog window, which is the Prism default dialog window. Got it. And then I go show dialog. That should be null because I broke it. Okay, that, it worked like I thought it was. Okay, that's what's supposed to happen. So now, get rid of this. Have you looked at Roslyn, the compiler of C# that's fully open source, and all the other things from MS that are open source in the C#? Yeah, I've actually written some Roslyn stuff. One love, you won't see blockchain technology built in C#, but you will see it built in C++. Oh, okay. Oh, Uber, hey! Thanks for joining. Sorry I missed you there. Right now, we are adding support to the Prism dialog service to support multiple dialog windows. So I'm working on that right now. And I'm trying not to break anything. However, oh my God, you know what? Well, that worked. I don't think I could take the approach I want to take. Yes, this works. I get it. It works. But here is the problem. If you do the default implementation here, right, this will for sure break. So it's going to give... Hey, wait a minute. Okay, that's right. That's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah, and that's not what we want. See, that's broken. That is broken. I can't do it that way because I want to keep backwards compatibility. So that means I can't do it this way. I have to go back. Go back to what I was doing. Oh, the things we do to keep backwards compatibility. Okay, now I need this back. Right? Is that right? I think that's right. What else do I need to do? You're the third person to bring up light theme. What a rebel. I like the light theme. I'm not joining the dark side. So what's going on is I have to keep this logic in there to keep backwards compatibility. Because if I try to make everything named, we have now broken the public API. And I can't have that. Because now if I run this, we should get the correct dialog window. So this should be the no name, null, custom dialog window. Oh, I gotta change this. I can't do this. Because that would break it too. I can't do that. Nope, can't do that. I gotta uncomment this. Put that back. Okay. It's gotta be like this. Let me make sure I'm right. Show dialog. The name. Null, yep. There we go. That's red. Exactly what it should be. So the problem with trying to... One love. Can we have a vote on dark theme? No. No, you can't. Yes, this isn't a democracy, it's a dictatorship. This is a co-datorship. This is my environment. I like to code in. Okay. Because what I was trying to do was eliminate the need for this check, this double check and passing name. Like I wanted name to always have a value, right? Obviously, we vote on variable names though. Obviously. Team Dark Theme +1. Yeah, I was trying to avoid... I wanted everything to be named. I didn't want to have this null stuff going around. But the problem is I have to keep backwards compatibility. If I didn't do that, then the API here would break on... Not necessarily here. It would break here on the dialogue. We need a singularity so I can use webcams for eyes. Let's compromise. Great theme. Oh, let's see. One love. I'm seriously half blind already. Sorry. I'm not blind. I can see perfectly fine. Ooh, hey, await task. That's a great idea. A color inverse Twitch extension. Yeah. See, I wanted this to be an option right here. So let's say we're going to show another window. And let's make sure. Let's make sure we are naming this one. Now, to simplify the application API, I would do this. Show confirmation in another window. See that? And then, instead of doing this, let's comment that out. I could do this. One love, thanks for the follow. Show confirmation in another window. So this makes it really easy to swap out the window, the hosting window of the dialog. Aha! What do we have? Another window. Okay, I broke something. What did I break? Let's look, shall we? So I hosted. Okay, got that. Name of. Yeah, breaking all the things. That's what I do best. Let's get rid of that. Actually, let's put that back. Let's put that back. Window name. Maybe I mistyped something. J Sups! Thanks for the follow. Oh, it's called another dialog window. That's why, not another window. Hello, Creation. Thank you for the follow. You're watching me implement a new feature in Prism. So now if I show this dialog, that's green. Green is good. Green is... That's what I put, right? Isn't that what I put? I think green is the background. Yes, green is the background. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Why was that one smaller? Oh, I know why. Because of this. So what's cool about the Prism Dialog service is I can style the hosting dialog window. So let's change this to a notification dialog. Right? And let's show this dialog window and watch how big it is. Bam! Right? It's green, it's exactly what it's be, but the window is huge. What's that? DJ Camperus mistyped the magic string. Yes, I did. I don't feel like creating constants for these simple demos. But so I can open up this notification dialog and I can create a style that lets me target the host window. So the startup location, if it's resizable, if I'm gonna show it in the taskbar, you know, the width and height, all that stuff. So now I'm gonna show the same window, but it's gonna shrink down and apply that style to that parent window. See that? Now it's center screen. Or I can say center owner. Now it's going to open up to the center of the hosting window. Oh. Is that a bug? I said center owner. Let's take a look here. I'm glad I checked that out. Main window. That's the owner. So I don't know what's going on with that. Because that should have totally worked. The owner was set. Oh well. I'm not focused on that right now. I am focused solely on supporting multiple windows. Okay, so just in case you might be a little confused, this hello world that I'm working in, this sample with this view model, this is a separate project. This is a playground project. This is not part of Prism. So this view model you see, this is not part of Prism. This is an application that I'm using to test this new feature that I'm writing for Prism. And all these comments are implementations of that API, right? Lily, gotta admit, I'm super confused. It can be confusing, especially if you're not familiar with Prism, because there's a lot of moving parts to this. You know, we're using dependency injection, we're using MVVM. So if you look at the view model constructor, I'm injecting a dialog service and a region manager, right? This is all happening automatically for me. You don't see new dialog service written anywhere in this code. It goes directly from the application startup, where I am registering my types, right? Here's my application class. I'm creating my shell, okay? Job NPA. Thanks for the follow. But so I'm creating my shell. This is the main window. So if you come into views, main window, this is the shell. This is the app that pops up, the main window of the application, okay? And then I'm registering types with the container. I'm registering my custom dialogs, my dialog host, my dialog windows, and my views for navigation. And then, as you can see on the main window, there's this Prism view model locator equals AutoWire view model equals true. That will use the dependency injection container to automatically create an instance of my view model. So if I go to my code behind here, you'll see there's no code behind in this window, right? So the view model gets created automatically by the container. The container looks at this constructor and says, oh, hey, you need an iDialog service. Oh, and you need an iRegionManager. Manager. I know what those are. I'm going to give them to you. And so I don't have to manually create those. Like most code bases you see will do something like this. You'll see dialog service. Whoops, if I can type. Dialog service equals new dialog service, right? Something like this, right? Oh, but look, this has dependencies, right? You will never see this type of code. Well, you should never see this type of code in a Prism application at all. Can you pick the DI framework yourself? Yes, you can use whatever DI framework you want. This one is using dry IOC, I believe. Yes, dry IOC. But you can use whatever container you want. Doesn't matter. Pick your favorite. Except, hold on, it does matter. It does matter. There are some rules. I think we have those documented, actually. Let's go prismlibrary.com to the documentation. And where did we put that? Where did we add in? Yeah, right here. So these are the following rules a container must support or have in order to be used by Prism. It must be mutable. Has to be mutable. It cannot be immutable. So if you're new to these terms, mutable means it can be changed, right? So immutable means you can't change it. Think like mutable means after the container has been created, I can continue to register new components with it. or to with the container, right? I can continue to register new components at runtime, not just at startup. So I have to be able to change those registrations. I think AutoFact, for example, used to be mutable, but they went to an immutable, meaning you can no longer add registrations after it's been initialized. And so we had to drop support for AutoFact because of that. It best supports transient and singleton registrations. So if you're new to dependency injection, transient means every time I request an instance of this type, I get a new instance. So it's like my service equals new service every single time. A singleton means anytime I request that type, I'm going to get one instance and that same instance every time. So the first time it's going to say my service equals my service. But the next time I request it, it's going to give me that same instance everywhere throughout the application, no matter what. Okay. StelZ79. Well, every DI architecture confuses dev with 3 indirecting and obfuscating instantiations when they first encounter any DI. That's true. Okay. Number 3. Your container must support registering a specified instance. So that would be something like this. Let me go to my app.xaml. Let's say I have var o equals new object, right? Just pretend. And then I can say container, container registry. Where's my IntelliSense? I rely on that way too much. Dot register instance. Right, so your container has to allow you to manually create the object and then take that instance that you created and register it with the container. And then anytime you ask for that object, you're going to get that specific instance every time. So that's another requirement. The next requirement is support keyed registrations. Furkan, is AutoFact support dropped because update methods have been marked? Yes. That's what I was talking about. AutoFact is no longer mutable, which is the #1 requirement. And that's because Prism has modules. The modules can be loaded at runtime. And those modules will have registrations of their own. So since AutoFact dropped support for allowing you to register new services at runtime, we can no longer support AutoFact. AutoFact will not work with Prism. Okay, so number 4, keyed registrations, resolving by name. This is a big one why we don't support the Microsoft iService provider thing that they have. I think it's iService provider, right? They have their own dependency injection container. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. But we can't support that one because it doesn't allow you to register by name. Now, Dan Siegel has an extension, Prism Form extensions, that he has a hack to make it work. It's nasty, but it works. But I'm not going to add that nasty code to Prism, so it's in an extension. And then, lastly, it must support all 3 platforms, WPF, UWP, and Xamarin Forms. This one, most of them do. But these top 4 are the most important. If your container of choice does not support these, then it will not be used with Prism. And in this documentation topic, we showed how to use Grace. Right? Pretty easy. Okay. So for Khan, which IOC do you recommend in terms of performance overall? I like dry IOC now. I used to be a real big Unity person, right? I really liked Unity just because I used it since the very beginning. And I was comfortable. I've been using it so many years. But dry IOC is super fast and does everything I needed to do. Now, keep in mind, when you're using a container with Prism, for the most part, you're working through the container registry and container provider that Prism provides you. It's an abstraction over the actual container. Because what we used to do and what Prism 6 before did was we would have like a Prism bootstrapper, a Unity bootstrapper, a dry IOC bootstrapper, an inject bootstrapper. Like, the APIs were specific to a container implementation, and that was just causing way too much code churn, way too much maintenance burden. So we created this Prism.ioc abstraction. And so we have this provider interface, which just has these resolves, and this iContainer registry, which has these methods here. And all of these methods are the methods, bare minimum methods required for Prism to function. And this is all we need. As long as your container can do this, we should be good, right? So those are the methods you'll really be working with. All right. As far as this goes, I think we have implemented this feature. We have backwards compatibility, right? One thing I do want to do, go back to my dialogs, notification. I don't know why that center owner wasn't working. I will look at that later, actually. But we'll say center screen. Because you saw the owner was set. The owner was most definitely set. So I'm not quite sure why that didn't work out for me. All right. So in this, well, what I was getting to earlier, I was explaining to Lily how this was all working, right? So we talked a little bit about DI. And so I'm registering all my types with my application here. And then when we get to the view model, we inject our DI service and region manager. Okay. And this allows me to show these dialogues from my view model without referencing a single UI component. Because if you look at here, let's look at this basic code, not the extension method. Not this one right here. We're showing a dialog called notification dialog. Well, Brian, how do I know that's called notification dialog? Because when you registered the dialog, that's what you told it to be. Now, you can give it another name. You can call it something else if you want. Sure, no problem. But that's the name of it. So we said, I'm going to show the notification dialog. I'm going to pass these parameters to that dialog. And then when it closes, this is the callback. I'm going to respond to the closing of that dialog with any parameters it passed back. Now, your next question is, well, Brian, how do you manage that? How do you manage those parameters? Well, if we look at the notification dialog itself, it has its own view model, right? And it implements a base class, which is very simple. It just implements iDialogAware, right? And then this is where you can get dialogs passed into it. See this on dialog opened? So if we go to the notification dialog, on dialog opened, I'm setting the message to the parameters message. Now, if you go back to our, where is it? Here it is. See these dialog parameters where we're setting message equal to the message? See that? That is how we're getting the message data bound to that value. So when let me play this. Let me run it real quick. So when I show this dialog, you see this is a message that be shown in the dialog. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna hit OK. See, result is none right here at the title bar. I'll hit that. Result is none. That should be null. I need to show the confirmation because it has more options. Let's go back. Okay, wait a minute. Let me close this. Let me check this out. Why is that none? I don't know. I found an error in my sample app. Okay, let's look at this. Content. Okay. Close dialog command. Oh, you know what? I'm probably not passing the command parameter, which I'm not. My bad. My bad. Now we should hit result equals okay. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Fixed. Fixed it. Now it says okay. Now it says none. Okay, okay, that's fixed. Alrighty. So I think that kind of covers how it works, right? We showed the dialog, notification dialog. If we look at the notification dialog view model, we are passing the parameters. We're getting those parameters and setting the message. And if you look at the XAML, we're simply data binding that message to that value. See that? Clear as mud. And then I have a base class that I handle the close if I can close it. So what this dialog interface, iDialog aware interface does, it allows you to control the dialog from your view model, allows you to close it from your view model. Can you close it? So let's do this. We'll say false. Can't close. But now, I mean, I'm not going to be able to close it. See, it won't close. Even if I hit the X button, it will not close because I said don't close. We'll put that back to true. But it allows you to programmatically control, right, whether or not you can close that dialog. And then maybe you need to do some cleanup when the dialog does close, so on dialog closed. So that's where the iDialog aware interface comes from. That's what it's used for. Any dialog you create in Prism that you're going to be using in the service has to implement iDialog aware. And confirmation dialog. The dialog itself is just a user control. It doesn't have to have any knowledge of any windows or anything like that. It doesn't matter. I really try to keep this as clean as possible. The only thing that really requires some knowledge is a custom window host. But your window would just implement iDialog window. And then you have this result property. And that is this here. Okay, that's how we're able to access that value. All right. So what I did to clarify what's going on with these extension methods. So these extension methods await task. This is almost the exact same way I have done it in the past. Yes, this is a very common pattern for dialogues. So common, in fact, I finally decided to add a dialog service to Prism itself. Before it didn't have one because I'm just like, they're so easy to write. Just write it. But you know what? It's so common. It's such a common issue that people run into. I just decided to add one directly to Prism. So these dialog service extensions, these are application specific, and they're solely meant to simplify the consuming API. Otherwise, you're writing much more verbose. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Verbose, uncomment, dialog code, meaning you would have to pass in your dialog parameters, and if there was more than one, of course, you might have to do something like this. var p equals new dialog parameters. I mean, if you have a ton of them, you might be doing, adding a whole bunch. Right? You might have to do something like that. And then you would pass it in like this. That's one option. But the whole purpose of the extension method is for your consuming API, your developers working on the app. You can simplify this by saying, oh, okay, instead of saying show dialog, the name of the dialog, passing in a parameters collection, and handling the callback, you can create an extension method called show notification. And so your developers who are writing code in your app would just call dialog.showNotification, and then you control what the name of the dialog is, you know, the parameters you're expecting. So in this case, it's just a string. Instead of having to pass in a dialog parameters object, the developer just passes in a string, and you handle that for them. And then you just make sure you call the callback. And in this case, show notification in another window. We are specifying that we're going to show a different window host for this dialog. Right? So you can actually change this at one spot, as long as your entire application is using your extension methods for your dialogs. Then at any point, you can come in and change them, and they'll be updated everywhere in the application. You don't have to go every single line of code where you're calling show dialog and update something. It will be fixed everywhere. So this is a pattern that I highly recommend if you're dealing with a lot of dialogues in your projects. Even if it's not a Prism app. This is a nice little abstraction to simplify your API and just to make it a little easier to update in the future. Right, so these samples we're using right there. This is showing, nope, I don't want the notification. Let's test the confirmation. Show confirmation. Show our dialog, and there it is. It's in red. Okay. Oh my goodness, hold on. I got something going on. Sorry about that. Do that again. I showed two dialogues. I was about to say, I thought it was supposed to be an OK and cancel button. There we go. There's our message. There's our custom dialog window. OK. Cancel. X button. Yay! It looks like... I think it works. Is there another scenario we may not be thinking about? So, okay, hold on. I guess we should actually... I'm going to add the window name. This is the new... Let me copy this. These are new methods. So I'm not breaking the API. I'm adding a new one. So let's document that window name. The name of the hosting window registered with the container. With the I container. Whoops. Oh my gosh. I container registry. The name of the hosting window registered with the I container registry. Okay. And then we'll add that one there too. Okay, documented. Anything else we need to document? Did I add any other? That's there. I container registry. Oh, yeah, extensions here. So this one. No. I'm going to keep those separate. Dialog window. Yeah, okay. That works. Am I missing anything? I feel like I'm missing something. I'm scared I'm missing something. Type T window, name. I'm going to keep that the same so we don't break anybody. This is for backwards compatibility. Like I said, I really wanted to get away from not having a name. I wanted everything to have a name, but I just can't do it. Because if I did that, it would break. I don't want to do that. So for backwards compatibility reasons, we're going to keep it the way it is. That looks good. Let's go to... Let me, okay, what if we did this? Whoops. I'm gonna name that one. You get the callback before it goes past the show method, so you can exit out of the method. Yeah, okay. No, you don't get the callback before. Here, let me undo that change right quick. Let me comment that out. Oh no, I can leave that. I can leave that just fine. Okay. So what happens is, in WPF, you have two different ways to show a window. You can show the window where it's not blocking the UI. Okay, so that's going to be a show. Then you have a show dialog, which blocks. Do I have anything? Okay, let's do this. So for example, this is a show dialog. So let's launch this. So I can't click, whoops, didn't mean to click there, anywhere in this application because this is a show dialog. This will not allow me to click anywhere else because it's modal until I dismiss the window. Okay. Now when I dismiss the window, when the window is closed, that's when the callback can be handled. And you can grab, for instance, result.parameters, right? You can get the parameters that were passed back from your view model, the dialog view model. You can get those parameters, check the result, and perform logic in your view model based on that dialog being closed. Now, you don't know when that dialog is going to close. So in this case, no code past this show dialog line will be invoked. So let's do this. Just to prove my point. Message box. Don't ever do this. Don't ever really do this. So for example, let's run this. I'm not going to hit this. We're not going to hit that messagebox.show line of code until we dismiss. See that? This is the notification. We'll hit the message box. Now we hit the message box. But if I change this to show, this is a non-modal window, meaning that it's going to open and the lines of execution will continue and that window will stay open as long as it wants. See, there's the dialog. Excuse me, there's the message box. Here's the dialog. Here's the message box. Now, I can move this off to the side and I can open another one. There's that line of code again. And I can open another one. Okay, that's the message box. So I can show with show, that is showing a non-modal window, which allows you to interact with other areas of your application, and they can all be closed independently. Now, because of that, check this out. That's where the callback comes in handy, because you don't know when these are going to close, if ever. But when they do close, you can respond to that. So I'm going to hit the X. We'll see that the result is none, right, for that window. The title is updated, result is done. On this one, I'll hit the OK, but I'm going to get the callback for that. The result is OK. Right, there it is. Title updated. So you kind of get the idea that callback allows me to respond to any time that dialog is closed, whenever that is. It could be any time. Anytime. Can the calling code close the dialog window programmatically? No. This dialog service does not have a close. That's not how it works. Now, the dialog itself, you can close programmatically. So from within the custom dialog, let's go to the dialog view model base. You just call request close right here. Request close, invoke, and then it will close the dialog. But this is on the dialog itself. The calling code, the executing code that actually calls dialog service.show does not close the dialog. That's not how a dialog service works or how it should work. Now, if you absolutely needed to close the dialog, you would have to send from the view model. You would have to send a message to it using like event aggregator or something. But that should be so rare. So rare. The main reason is you don't get an instance. You don't get an instance of that dialog. Like, we don't hold on to that. Because then you're just asking for problems. Okay. I think we could call this mission accomplished. I really hope we aren't missing anything. Perfect. And then, so, hold on, let me test this. I just want to make sure. So now we should see a red background. Yeah. This is pretty awesome, actually. So we've /formation. Got it. Thanks for the follow. So what we've done here is we've taken the idea of the multiple dialog windows. We didn't quite go with what the original posted idea was, right? Avadesk, thanks for the follow. Because I felt this was coupling, because I didn't want to couple the window to the view, right? The window to the dialog view. I didn't want that decision made at registration time. I want that decision made at runtime. And that also gives you the ability to show the same dialog view in different windows. I don't know how common that would be, but it may be a requirement. Okay. So let's do this. Edit support for multiple dialog windows. And let's go ahead and create a pull request. Okay, this is for issue 1903. Support for multiple dialog window hosts. Okay, what were our API changes? Oh, let's see. iDialog service. Okay, we definitely added that. We didn't change anything. We only added. We also iDialog service, where are you? Show and show dialog. Okay. We also added some registration methods. Where did we add that? ILC, I think. Yep. Right there. Okay, we added those methods. I don't think we added anything else to the API itself. The only other change I made to a method was in the dialog service. But this is a private method. It's an internal method. So this is not impacted by anything public. So we should be good there. Now, instead of an optional parameter, I could just pass null for these. If we want to get away from an optional parameter. I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just leave it the way it is. I guess it depends on how explicit you want to be. If you're really explicit, you would just pass in null for each of those and make this not an optional parameter. This would be an actual parameter. Anyone have any opinions on that? Should we just keep it the way it is? So I can change it. Guess I'll just keep it the way it is. But I didn't change anything else publicly. Okay, so let's go back to our PR. Lily says, keep it the way it is. You know what? She was first to the party, so we'll keep it the way it is. Although DJ Camperus is not a big fan of optional. Okay, so bugs fixed 903. Issue fixed. It's not a bug. Added support for multiple dialog windows. Now, when registering a dialog window to act as a dialog host, you can now specify a named dialog window. Using this name, you can then show a specific dialog window when calling iDialogService.show or iDialogService.showDialog. Seems about right. Okay. No behavioral changes. We actually made it backwards compatible. So we made some sacrifices to make it backwards compatible. So let's do this. First, register your dialog window with a name. Let me grab some code. I'm not going to do name of. My awesome dialog window. Actually, that's weird. Okay. Then, to show your dialog window, provide the name in the show or show dialog methods. And then more code. Where are we? Bam. Let's do this. I'm going to copy this. And I called that. What did I call that? I called it my awesome dialog window. And then we'll do this. Gotta love documentation. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Let's see, anything else? Oh! Definitely, whoops, definitely does that. Nope, I didn't write any tests for it. No, I did not write any tests for it. I'm out of time. No test today. All right. I think that was pretty straightforward. So now I'll undo that change. Put that back to where it was. And let's create our pull request. Cool. We'll let that build take place. So we have a continuous delivery pipeline. Tomukas 147369. Sup? How's it going? Yeah, so we have a continuous integration pipeline. We have 2 of 3 going so far. And it shouldn't have a green... Oh, there we go. So we have a CI build kicked off. And so we can go in here and we can see we're building prism.core, prism.forms, prism.wpf. We'll build a sandbox project. We'll build all of Prism. Then we will deploy our artifacts. So we actually deploy all our builds to MyGit. So, MyGit. So if you go to MyGit. Okay, that's not what I was looking for. MyGit, Prism library. Oh, .org. Oh, I'm so used to putting .com. So right here, we put our continuous integration builds, or CI builds, on MyGit. So if you ever want to test like the latest and greatest feature that we might have added, we have directions. So if you go to the Prism library here and scroll down to NuGet packages, right there. Add that as a package source. We tell you how to do it right there. But if you ever want to get the latest and greatest feature, for example, this support for multiple dialog windows, you can just add that as a NuGet source and get the CI builds from there and play with the new features. Not a lot of people know about that, but it's pretty cool. So our latest build was 11 days ago. We have a CI build. And today, after I merge this pull request, we will have another CI build out there. Pretty nifty. And then this bad boy will go away as implemented. Yay! That was fun. That was easy too, wasn't it? That was really easy. That was too easy if you ask me. It's like one of those things where I'm kind of scared that we missed something because it was so easy to implement. I thought it was going to be harder than that. But okay. I'm not sure what we're going to do on the next stream. Not sure. We do have... Well, let me show you. We are making a big effort on our samples. So for Prism.forms, we have stubbed out a lot of sample projects or samples to show specific features of Prism that we want to work on. So we might just start going through these and implementing each sample one by one. That might be kind of nice. And it'll help flesh out all these samples that we've been missing for so long. And you'll get to see how... Oh, uh-oh. Alex, Prism on UWP? No. No Prism for UWP anytime soon. Nope, 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 nope. Here's the thing. I don't use UWP. Dan doesn't use UWP. We don't use UWP. There is no, like zero incentive for us to spend all that time on UWP when we don't even use it. There's zero benefit. Zero. And maintaining a project like this already takes a ton of time as it is. And writing guidance for an entirely new platform, not to mention that UWP in general, it's got some issues. It's got some problems that I really dislike big time, especially around navigation. Oh my God, I hate navigation in freaking UWP. I hate it. Hell, I think even showing windows was a major pain in the ass. I don't even know if they fixed that yet. Oh, what's this? Make dependent modules example, please. Oh, yeah, we could do that. Actually, I think that's... Yeah, module dependency. That is a sample that we need to do right here. Module dependency. Is there anyone that is good at C++? I need help. I've been struggling with one exercise for a week. Can't find the mistake. C++. Anyone? C++. I stopped doing C++ over 10 years ago, so I can't help you. I've taken all that knowledge of C++ and just discarded it. Don't need it. Death came to UWP. It's not super popular. I'll tell you that. Alex, have you seen Uno platform? I mean, I'm really asking because of that framework. Yes, I've seen Uno platform. I don't know. The market's not there. Market is not there enough for me to even think about using it. My customers don't use it. I don't use it. And it's important to realize, like, because I spend so much time on Prism and this open source framework, I have to choose where I spend my time where it benefits me, honestly. Like, it's a little selfish thing to say, but I have to benefit from it personally in my day-to-day. Otherwise, it's not worth my time, right? So UWP and Uno platform, they're not important to me, so I'm not going to be working on that. Now, if Microsoft came to me or Uno platform came to me and said, Brian, we would really like you to write Prism for UWP or Uno platform, and we're willing to pay you this much money. Okay, now there's a benefit to me, right? But that hasn't happened. And so, yeah, I don't want to set the expectation that these companies who are for-profit companies expect people to build frameworks to support them for free. No. Sorry, not going to happen. No free labor for me. C++. Oh, they're learning that in school right now. Memory leaking always is very difficult. Yeah, C++ or Malik. Oh my God, Malik. Alexi's all about C++. I haven't touched C++ in over a decade, easily over a decade. But so if Uno or Microsoft is watching and you want me to support UWP or Uno platform, reach out to me, how much you want to pay, and then we can talk. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. Unless something happens in my career to where I am, head deep in UWP or Uno platform, to where I have to have a solution. And so keep in mind, I don't know if a lot of people know, but Prism has, across all packages, over 8 million downloads. 8 million! Now, granted, that's over 11 years. And that's only NuGet downloads. That doesn't count the downloads from Codeplex. Anyone remember Codeplex? So that's where Prism used to be before GitHub, right? So all the releases, all the downloads, all those stats from Codeplex are lost. So I don't know what happened to those or if I can even get them. But just on NuGet alone, since we made the move to NuGet and GitHub, over 8 million downloads. That's crazy. Yes. Yes, Juan, that's where the stock ticker app lived. Exactly. So you can imagine the number of emails and messages, forums, blog contact requests, phone calls, text messages, DMs, YouTube messages, Twitter you can just imagine the amount of contact requests I get every day. Are your Prism courses on Pluralsight still applicable? Yes, it's still applicable. They are outdated, granted, but all the concepts for WPF are the same. The only thing that's really changed is the bootstrapper is now an application, right? But everything else conceptually is the same. The namespaces have changed, and I don't think any object names have changed since then. But definitely namespaces have changed, and the bootstrapper is not going away, but it's not the recommended approach anymore. The bootstrapper should only be used if you're doing more of a headless type application. Maybe you're doing like an extension, right? Something like that. A Visual Studio extension. Meister B66. Thanks for following. But yeah, you can watch those courses on Pluralsight. They are a little outdated, but all the concepts are the same. So if you go to Pluralsight, Brian Lagunas, right here. How many courses? I have 8 courses authored. So loading dependent views, loading modules based on user roles. Oh, that was a fun one. Mastering a tab control, showing multiple shells. What's new in Prism 5? Oh, wow. Prism 5 was the last update I did. I did an introduction to WPF custom controls. Introduction to Prism, that's the one. And I did some design library stuff. Oh my god, that's an old freaking... That's an old picture right there. Holy crap. Man, I'm a baby. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I still had my military cut. Oh man, that brings back some memories. I don't know who that is. Who is that? Still a handsome man, I gotta tell you. I wonder if he's available. I'll take him on a date. But yeah, I posted my link to my courses. You know, I've been asked if I was going to update my Pluralsight courses, but I don't know. I don't know if I am or not. I'm actually thinking of not putting them on Pluralsight just because I don't like what Pluralsight's become over the past few years. I think I might just put it on my YouTube channel. I mean, I don't make any money off of it, but it's out there, right? But the good thing about putting it on YouTube is I don't have to spend all the time to make it so, like, perfectly perfect to meet some standards. I can, like, go through it much quicker. You know, I have to go through all these editing phases and reviews and putting the before and after samples together and doing these questions, and it's a lot of work to do a Pluralsight course. Like, a lot. It's almost not worth it unless you're like a John Papa, right? Someone who's just well known and just makes hundreds and hundreds of thousands of $1 million. You know, it's just ridiculous. But you gotta be up there, and I'm not up there. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Be nice if put them on YouTube. So I have a couple of videos that I try to squeeze out real quick.
Hey everyone.
Whoop, not there. Like right here, like delegate command, composite commands, using the event aggregator, view model locator, change the view model loader conventions, custom registrations, and I got some Xamarin Forms stuff in here. But yeah, I need to get back on this actually. I need to start doing more of these. Because what I do is and actually maybe we should just do this part of the sample slash documentation effort. Why Microsoft? What do you mean, why Microsoft? Spartan GTR. Can you clarify, please? What do you mean by why Microsoft? Coach Stencil, do you have any simple app, say like a to-do list that has CRUD? Actually, I think I do. Let's go to GitHub, but it's under my GitHub. And I think it's actually called To Do. I was playing with Azure services, and this is actually a cross-platform To Do application across WPF, UWP, and Xamarin Forms. Of course, UWP is gonna be broken now. And I have my services. So this will not work anymore because this is now dead. I deleted this table. But you can see where there's get to do items, insert, update. There's a delete somewhere around here. Get. Where is that? Detonated. Hello, how's it going? But yeah, so this specific application kind of shows you an approach to sharing view models across multiple platforms, WPF, Xamarin Forms, UWP, things like that. And the approach it took is you have a base view model. Like, for example, this to-do view model is a base view model. It has all your basic commands like add, can add, complete. Oh, complete. That's what it is, complete. In this app, there is no delete. It's just you complete the item, but we don't delete them. And then on the platform-specific side, so that's the Xamarin Forms. Like for WPF, what does this one do? Oh, it's in a module. Sorry. To-do module. So this view model will derive from that to-do view model, but it has the iNavigation aware. Like on navigated to, I call get to-do items. Like I can have platform-specific navigation, but keep all of my logic in a base view model shared across everything. And I just closed that tab. Gosh. GitHub.com/. Was it? No, that's sponsors. Not that. Not that. Unless you want to sponsor me. If you want to sponsor me on GitHub and keep sponsoring all the community work I do, $1 goes a long way. Let me paste this to do. There we go. There we go. Let me paste that in. There's the link. All right. But yeah, so that app is a pretty good app. Now, if you F5 it, like I said, I disconnected the Azure service. No longer works, so it probably won't actually work. But all the code is there to kind of give you an idea of how easy it is to actually do CRUD. Because it's not really a Prism thing. CRUD is an application thing. Prism doesn't care how you do it. The way I did it is I put it... Here, let me actually just share my desktop here. I actually put it in this to-do service where I would do my get, my insert, and my updates. Pretty easy. Control plus Shift plus T opens last. Oh, wait, task. I did not know that. Let me try that. Control Shift plus T. Oh, nice. It works in Edgeium too. So I'm using the Chromium version of Edge. I call it Edgeium. That's an awesome trick. I didn't know that because I do that a lot. Like I'm in the habit of closing tabs. I'll just close it, but now I can get it back. Sweet. Sweet. Great tip. That's not only Russian, and he understood me. That's right. You tell him, detonated, Alexei. I know how to say hello in Russian. Well, I can't say it, but I know what it looks like. That's just as good, right? I know what it looks like. I can't say it, but I know what it looks like. Yes, remember it. I do know Dobravecha, little Bulgarian. Okay. Remember it. Just Zadorova. I think I can do that. Zadorova. Zarova. Oh, Zadorova. Got it. Now I can say it. Maybe. Shirley Dev, hey, good to see you. A neat search feature in Firefox is type %space E. Okay, space. Then a search term. Well, let's try it. Space %sign. Nope, not a thing. That is not a thing. And Edgium. I'm Russian now. Nice. I'm Russian. Officially. All right, everyone. It's lunchtime. I'm hungry. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you had as much fun as I did implementing a new feature in Prism. And actually, before I go, let's see if the build is done. Because it wouldn't be complete unless we could actually merge it into master. It's done. It's done. We are merging. Merge. Merge. Delete branch. And let me make sure this... Multiple dialog windows. So this is another thing I do. Let me open up my OneNote. Before I head out. Ooh, can't show that. Here we go. Here we go. Prism WPF. What is this? 1903. Multiple dialog windows. I use these for release notes. What's it? 1903. What was the title? Multiple dialog windows? Yeah. So I keep track of everything I do. So when it comes time for the release notes, I just copy and paste them. So another thing I like to do is, let's go to the pull request. Closed. I'm going to copy and paste this code to put in the release note docs. Okay, got that. And wait, one last thing, and we will call it a day. We have to close it. Bam! Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Mission complete. It's official. We have created a feature, merged it into master, and closed all the related release notes. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I had a blast. Thanks for the help. I appreciate it. And I cannot wait to see everyone again on Thursday, where we will start doing some Prism samples. We're going to start working on knocking those samples out, building out a solid sample repository, and then hopefully we will write some documentation in combination of that, because what I'd really like to do is have a documentation topic and then link to the sample. And then I can do a video for that whole thing. So we just start creating this content that just keeps piling on each other. So hopefully that will work out, and we will start that on Thursday. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining me today, and I cannot wait to see you on Thursday. I will see you next time. Have a good one.